Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is I Am Bree TV and I am Bree. Baby, if you wanna post, we can figure it out your way. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is I Am Bree TV and I am Bree. Now, as you can see, the title of this video is the time my neighbor got my car towed. And spoiler alert, she just so happened to be racist too. So yeah, it's gonna be a story for sure. Alright, so I decided I wanted to just sit down, chit chat with you guys and do my story time instead of doing a little look, makeup type of thing and then doing my voiceover. It's gonna be my first attempt, so we're gonna see how this goes. So get ready, you guys. This story is gonna be juicy. It's gonna be juicy. Okay, it was a bit of this and that going on, and yeah, I have a story for you. So you guys get comfortable, get your snacks, get your wine, your beverage of choice. I have my water. Yeah, hydration for sure. And I got my glass of wine because I'm ready to dive in. Okay, I'm ready to get into it. All right, so this took place about, I want to say 2 years, almost 2 years, about a year and a half ago. I was living in a townhome, and I was pregnant with my second child at this time. So that was also going on. I was pregnant. I believe I was, I want to say between 6, 7 months pregnant, but I was very much showing. So this neighbor, she was an older woman. You know, she stayed. Now at first, I didn't know exactly where she stayed, but I know she stayed near because she was one of those people that kind of knew things about other individuals that lived in the area. So it's like, okay, you stay somewhere over here, because this is things that you wouldn't know, that you know that you shouldn't know unless you stay close by. Okay, like, vehicles, where people park, that type of thing. You're not gonna know that if you don't live over there, unless you're just a stalker. But you know, anyways, she was an older woman, for sure over 60, for sure. But she was getting around, walking. She didn't have a vehicle. She didn't drive. I remember her telling me she didn't drive. She made that very clear. She's never had a car. So, basically, I was living there. And I still, to this day, I don't know exactly where she's lived. I just knew she lived close enough to be spying and being nosy and everything. So, this particular time, I have my reserved parking spot in the back of the building. It's like kind of in the alleyway, but everyone has their assigned spot, right? So it wasn't too far from my door. So I was still on third shift, night graveyard, night shift, however you want to put it. Still on third shift. So I'm getting ready to leave out, and I have my daughter with me, so I have to drop her off prior to me going to work. So I'm heading out, got my daughter with me, and I go to the back where I know I parked. I don't see my car. So I'm like, did I park back here or did I park up front? So I'm like, let me just check. I walk towards the front of the building. No vehicle. My vehicle is not present. So I'm like, okay, what is this? I'm confused because I know I parked my vehicle before I went in the house. So I go back to the back. I take my daughter inside because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So just, I took her in, had her sit down in the living room. I went back outside and I'm looking for like maybe like clues or, glass, and maybe my car was stolen or something. I don't know. So I'm looking and I see like tire marks. And there's like on the side, not a little, there where there's like grass and then there's like mud and then you have like your curb part right where you're parking. If you're parking in the back of a building, if you have parking spots, if you ever had a parking spot that was behind your apartment or house or whatever, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. It's like a little curb type thing. So there's like tire tracks in the mud right there. So I'm like, no, my car definitely got out of here. But I'm like, I don't remember driving in the mud. So I'm like, okay. So I did remember my landlord giving me a folder with like information to contact the association that owned the building that did like maintenance and yard work, and if you needed a car towed or if somebody was parking your spot, you could call them and they would get the vehicle removed, right, for you, so towed away. So I call this number and then they're like asking them like, have you like call them up. I'm like, hey, have you if you guys came across the car I had, I'm not gonna say what car I had, but they're like, just a second, we'll check. And then they're like, they get back on the phone and they're like, okay, we can't give you specifics on if it's here or not. You'll have to call back during business hours. We're just the dispatching center right now. We can't really verify if it's here or not. You have to call back during normal business hours. So at this point, I don't know if my car was towed or stolen. I don't know. And yet I needed to still drop my daughter off and I need to get to work. So time goes by a little bit and it's getting past the time when I'm supposed to be at work. So I just decided I called my job and I let them know I'm running late. And I don't know where my car is. I was, be honest, give you the truth. I don't know where my car is. It could have been stolen or towed. I don't know which one. I don't know. It just, when I went outside, when I went in my home earlier, my car was out there. I went out to get ready and do my thing and then, get to work. Car ain't out there. I don't know where she went. I don't disappear, alien. I don't know. I'm confused at this point. I'm frustrated, slightly frustrated, but confused. Like, where would my car have gone? Like, somebody really stole my car is what I'm thinking. Now, this whole scenario happened prior to me ever getting my car stolen. Because I don't know if you guys tuned into, you guys tuned into the other story where my car got stolen 3 times. This situation happened before my car actually got stolen at any point. So that's why I'm just like confused, because that's never happened to me before. I've never had anyone like vandalize a vehicle of mine or steal it or anything like that. So all this was new to me. Okay, so I call up my boyfriend and I let him know, like, hey, look, I don't know where my car is. I just tried to call the company that would have possibly towed my car, And then I called the city tow. They didn't have any record. The city tow, they didn't have any record of my car being towed. So I'm like, it's a possibility if it was towed, it would have went to the association of the building. They would have they would have been doing the towing. They would have sent it somewhere. But I couldn't verify that until, a few hours later. Because at this point, this was after midnight. So technically, it was the next day. So my boyfriend's like, what the hell? What the hell's going on? So I'm like, I don't know. You don't know any more than I do. I just know my car is missing. So I got my daughter. At this point, my daughter was still with me. I did proceed to drop her off to a family member of mine, and then I'm like, I'm still gonna try to get to work. That was my goal for the night. Still try to get to work, regardless of this situation happening. My boyfriend was, he was able to take me. I know I could count on him, so I'm like, yeah, I want to still try to go, even though I'm gonna be late. So I called my job, called them back a couple times, let them know what's going on. Hey, I can't verify if my car's actually been towed, but I'm gonna still try to get there, still work my shift. Just giving you guys a heads up. It was a bunch of BS going on over there. This chick, I'm not gonna get too deep into how she was and everything, or what she was doing, but she was doing the most. She's the kind of person that no one can be late except her. She's a whole nother story herself. She's late, you can't say anything to her. You can't be upset or say anything if she's late. But if you're late to relieve her, you got some issues. You're gonna have some issues with her. She just did the most, like, for no reason. She was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, that was her. So I'll get more into that in another story time about my co-worker that was cuckoo. The girl she was crazy for real, straight up, need meds, crazy. But anyways, back to the subject. So I still wanted to get to work, right? So my boyfriend was able to get me there. But before I got there, my job, like I said, I let them know that I was gonna be late, and but I was on my way. So when I got there, it was about between 1 and 2 a.m., something like that. So I get there, and I did call my location that I worked at as well, to kind of let the officer know, like, hey, I'm gonna come relieve you. I'm not doing a no call no show. I'm letting you know, like, I am running late. And if they wanted to know what was going on, I didn't have the problem saying it, because shoot, I barely knew what the heck was going on. But I mean, I could try to explain it to you. So nobody answered the phone, and I know it was the girl that was there, the one I was referring to as being she was there. She just wasn't answering the phone. Exactly. Doing too much for no reason. Just answer the phone. Could have been an emergency, So she didn't answer the phone. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And I get there when I get there. You just won't know until I get there. That type of thing. So when I get there, she's not there. Okay? There was another guy that worked at my site. His vehicle was out in the parking lot. So I'm like, why the heck is he here? So I'm like, maybe he relieved her until it was gonna be her relief until I got there. That's what I'm thinking. So I walk in, scan my badge, walk in. My boyfriend, he walks in with me. He stays in the lobby area, and I go in, and the guy that's supposed to be covering for me or whatever, he's like, oh yeah, so and so, he wants you to call him he wanted me to let you know to call him once you got here. Now, the person he was referring to was our scheduling manager. So he's responsible of making sure everyone um, that's on the schedule, that's abiding by their schedule, on time, that type of thing. So I call him up and he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to let Wilder work your shift because you never got back to such and such in regards to if you were gonna come or not. So we got him to cover your shift, and he's gonna actually stay and work your shift. And I'm like, excuse me? Who? What? So it's so many things wrong with that. For starters, the lying of I never got back to anyone telling them I was coming when I indeed called back multiple times to let them know that I was still coming to work my shift. And even when I was maybe like 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes, maybe like 5-7 minutes away, I called and I said, hey, I'm actually pulling into the lot. I am about to walk in. So that was the number one lie. The second was the fact that they had someone come to cover my shift, and it was not necessary. The fact that they claimed I wasn't able to be reached was a lie, because I had phone calls or call history of me calling them, and they only called me. They called me once, and I called them multiple times, maybe like 4 or 5 times I called. So of course I'm fuming. I'm like, no, I don't. Now if I did something wrong, yeah, I'm gonna own up to it, because this is my job. I'm not here to play. I'm here to work and do my job. But if I was honest and I was communicating, and I had no problem doing that, because hey, why not communicate? Let's get this taken care of, because I need to relay to you guys what's going on with me, so that everyone knows that, okay, this is going to be taken care of. We don't have any issues here. We don't have to find coverage, because we have coverage. She's just a little late. Okay? That's how it was supposed to go, but it didn't go like that. So I'm letting my superior know, like, hey, that's not what happened. I got a call history showing that I called them back, that we had a conversation that was over 2 minutes long. So both each time. So please enlighten me on who wasn't able to be reached. Not me, not her. No. So of course the schedule manager, he's apologizing to me. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't even know that happened. Like, totally messing everything up. But because he's already there, the other officer that was supposed to be the relief, not my relief, but the previous person's, it would have been their relief. He was gonna just stay because he was there already on site. He's already clocked in. So I'm like, okay, cool. I was pissed, because I'm like, that's my money, and on top of that, I don't know where my car is. I felt like that movie, dude, where's my car? I felt like that, like, dude, what is going on? So then I'm talking to my boyfriend or whatever, venting a little bit, talking to him. He's like, yeah, that's bullshit. I'm like, yeah. But I'm like, you know what? It's just, I feel like it's probably meant for me to just go home, just chill, go back to work, because I believe that was my last night of work. Yeah, it was. Now that I remember. Yeah, okay, so that was a Thursday night when that happened. that would have been my last night to work anyways. So yeah, I would have Friday night off. Because Thursday night, that's when I would have went in, right? And got off in the morning. So I would have Friday night off, Saturday night, and then Sunday night, start my schedule again. So with that all happening, um, I ended up, you know, calling in the morning, calling the number that I originally called, which was the number for the tow company that could tow vehicles off the lot or out of someone's parking spot if they weren't supposed to be parked there, right? So I called and they verified that my vehicle was there. So I'm like, okay. As soon as I could, as soon as my boyfriend was available, he took me to go get my car. And I mean, it wasn't too expensive. It was like 200 and something, or close to 200, something like that. It wasn't. It definitely wasn't over 250. I distinctively remember that. So I'm talking to the guy because he's letting me know like, hey, you need to have your license and registration for your vehicle, and also the title if you have it, and then you're also gonna need proof of insurance. So I'm like, all of that is in the car. So they were nice enough to let me go and on the lot that they had it on. They were nice enough to let me go into the lot and get the stuff out of my car that I needed, so they could release my vehicle after I paid for it. So I'm there. Now, mind you, I'm pregnant at this time, right? So there's this guy there, and this weird random guy. I don't know him personally. So he's like, "Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? You cute pregnant." Like, thank you. It was so random. But what's also so crazy about it was my boyfriend was there. Now he wasn't right there. He was outside. Um, he was outside the building when this happened. He wasn't like right there with me inside because this was during COVID or whatever, and they only let so many people. They only let one person at a time into the little lobby area to kind of, I guess, social distance. So when he did come in there, the guy that gave me the compliment, he turned to my boyfriend and he's like, "Oh, that's you? That gotta be you, man. Good, yeah. I see you." Like, so I look at my boyfriend and he's smiling and he like points to dude like, "Who's he? Who's dude?" I'm like, the randomness. It's so much random things like that happen to me all the time. I'm like, I don't know. So I end up, going ahead and paying for my vehicle. And then I talked to the guy behind the glass and I asked him like, is there any way for you to find out if how my car got towed or if somebody called or something? And he's like, yeah, I can tell you. I'm like, oh, tell me, please do. Come on, please tell me. Please tell me. So he's like, yeah, it was called in a tenant or homeowner, and they had the same, not my address, but it was like maybe an address or two over. So I'm like, now how these townhomes are set up, that address is either not right next to mine, but two addresses over for sure. And I'm like, okay. I still didn't know exactly what would have been. So I'm like, okay. So somebody got my vehicle towed. Interesting. So I made note of that. So I'm like, I'm gonna find out who got my car towed for sure. So I'm getting a little thirsty. Okay, so I this was, I'm gonna say, got my car back, right? So I want to say over that weekend. Okay, so over that weekend, I ended up not parking in the back of the building. I parked in the front, like Main Street. Parked right there. There's like a walkway, sidewalk leading up to where my door is. So I park over there and I take the little walk. Now I noticed there's this older white or Caucasian, however you would like to say it, woman outside, and I noticed I've seen her plenty of other times. Her, she's either out there picking up, litter and trash and stuff, or she's picking up twigs and sticks and just kind of like. And then I've seen her like trimming the little bushes, not that big hedges, but the little itty bitty bushes that are like right next to the walkway or the little sidewalk part. So I've seen her. I'm just like, oh, see her, and I'm like, me knowing how older people are, because I grew up around a lot of older people, because I was raised by my grandmother. So they're gonna know things before a lot of other people would know, or they're gonna for sure be able to tell you what they saw if they don't know anything at all. Okay, so I walk up to her and I'm like, hello, and talk to her, make some little small talk, and I'm like, she asked me how I was. I told her, I'm good. I'm doing a little better. I just got my car back. My car got towed. I'm not really sure why it got towed. I'm still trying to figure out how that could have happened. Just kind of throwing it out there so then she can chime in and tell me if she knows anything, and fill in the blanks, because I'm saying, I admitting, like, I don't know what's going on or why that could have happened. So she's like shaking her head in agreement and like, yeah, okay, well, now she had a little shake to her. Now I don't know if she had Parkinson's or what, but she was shaking a little bit, right? She had like a little rake in her hand and some gloves, like some gardening gloves. So she's like, holding. I remember she was holding in both hands, right, like this. So she's like, well, yeah, literally, that's what she's doing. Yeah, so, yeah, I got that car towed because it's not supposed to be back there. You aren't supposed to be parking back there, ma'am. Excuse me? Did I hear you correctly? I'm living here. I recently moved in here. I got assigned a spot. Now, these are things that are running through my head. I'm not telling her anything because I don't know her from a can of paint. I'm not sharing personal details of what's going on with me to her. Because what did she just do? She just admitted she got my vehicle towed. Because she feels, yeah, you're not supposed to be parked back there. You shouldn't be parked back there. Okay, got you. So I'm like, oh, you did that. And for what, might I ask? So she's like, saying that I don't have a permit. Okay, true. I'm like, no, I don't have one. I wasn't given one. I wasn't given one by my landlord. And she said, that's funny because if you lived here, you would have gotten a permit and you would have been permitted to park back there. Now everything in me is encouraging me to shut the fuck up, right? Because I was raised to respect my elders to the utmost, right? And that's what I'm doing. But it's getting hard. She's pushing all types of buttons she don't even know Okay, so I'm like, I do live here. I definitely live here. Um, Recently moved in. I live here for sure. I sent in my paperwork, so I'm like, I'm not sure why I haven't gotten my permit back. So she's like, yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, you're not supposed to park back there. So I'm like, okay, well, I live here, and that was the spot that was issued to me. So from my knowledge, I am allowed to park back there. Now I'm still waiting to get a permit sticker, but the fact that there's a delay, I don't know what that's about. But I am supposed to be parked right there. So she's like, yeah, no, you're not. Just trying to be very combative, trying to argue with me, okay? And I'm like, lady, okay, I'm not gonna argue with you because, like I said, I'm pregnant, very pregnant at this point. I'm waddling at this point, okay? And I'm not gonna argue with you. You're not gonna steal my joy today. We're not doing it. She's not doing it. I'm not having it. So the fact that she's trying to elevate her voice. Yeah, if you park back there again, I'm gonna get it towed again. Ma'am. Ma'am. Who are you talking to? That is what I said. Who are you talking to? She, you know, pauses, don't say nothing. I said, I am allowed to park there. Like I said, I don't have a permit sticker, but that is the spot that I was told was mine to park in. I have a vehicle, I have groceries, I have a small child. That's me having a spot that I was told was mine. That makes it more convenient for me to carry in groceries, for me to bring my child in. It's more convenient for me to get to my vehicle, to have a spot which I was told was mine. So I'm going to park in my spot regardless of what you're talking about right now. That's how I felt. That is what I said. So she's like, she's saying some other stuff, but please, I wasn't trying to hear none of that. Okay, so I let her know, look, you can keep talking, and I'm gonna walk off on you on that note. Like I said what I said, and that's what it is. Now, I know my grandma probably would have been like, girl, why were you talking to that lady? Look, okay, I'm admit I got excuses. Okay, I'm pregnant. I'm overly emotional already. I'm hot all the time. Hot. AF. Okay. Sweating and ain't did not one exercise. Okay. So I'm already uncomfortable. And then on top of that, I have to spend money that's designated for other things or for something else. Or maybe nothing. Whatever. I have to spend my money on a tow, not on a tow, but to get my vehicle out of a tow lot, which I feel like should have never been there in the first place. I wasn't illegally parked. I wasn't parked in front of a fire hydrant. I wasn't blocking nobody's walkway. I didn't do nothing illegal or nothing that would prompt me to get my vehicle towed. She was just being spiteful. If, quote unquote, I needed to have a permit sticker, and you seeing that I just recently moved in, how about having a conversation with me and saying, hey, I didn't know if you knew this or not, but I happen to not see a permit sticker in your vehicle. You do need one. It's just to confirm that this spot is yours, that you're allowed to park back here, because sometimes you may get your vehicle towed. If they come by and they see that you're back here parked here and you don't have a sticker. You could be just like visiting or something, and you could be taking up someone else's spot. That I would have understood. Okay, I would have understood that. But I'm like, okay, I get you, I got you. Thanks for coming to me that way. But the way she came at me, disrespectful as hell. I was not no. You weren't finna get no respect out of me. Not that day. No. Because I was already being nice, speaking to you. I've been speaking to you, saying hi, how are you doing prior to this. But you low-key have been watching me. You're low-key doing little underhanded things, watching other people, not just me. Okay. And then you're trying to basically insinuate I don't live where I live. I'm not supposed to be there. Like as if I'm a squatter or something. Like, no, you got me messed up. Nope. And then she goes, I remember her saying something about, I've never heard your name. When did I tell you what my name was? I don't recall that. We have not officially met. You have not asked me what my name was or anything. Now, going back, I do remember, I want to say 2 days after I moved in, there was another older white woman that questioned me, and she was outside with her. So both of these ladies were outside my door, right next door, and were she said, hey, is that your car? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, so this lady right here, so this other woman, she's pointing to the lady, the one I'm talking about, that got my car towed, that admitted that she got my car towed. There's a woman pointing to her, saying, oh yeah, she says you're not supposed to park right there. You have to park somewhere else. So I'm like, excuse me? No, that can't be right. She's like, yeah, that's what she said. That's what she's saying. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, so she's like, yeah, you have to move your car. I'm not moving anything, because that's where I was told I can park. So she knew whatever she knew. Then she could have addressed me. Then she had a whole conversation with someone else that knows absolutely nothing about me. Neither one of them do. To actually even get in their mind, yeah, she's not supposed to be parked right there. How would you know? How would you know? Because you would have had to been looking all in my car to see if I had a permit, right? Because I reverse into any parking spot. So you would have had to walk around my vehicle being nosy to try to see if I had one. And you looking that closely at my car, just be an adult. You old enough. You're definitely old enough. Why not have that conversation with me and say, look, let me know. Obviously, I'm new, not familiar with how things work over here. How about just explaining it to me? That right there, I feel that doesn't dawn on people enough. But anyways, so she said something then, but not directly to me. It was more the other woman saying something. But there were rumors of, like I was told from other people that lived in the area, the black people that lived in that area, like, hey, yeah, those ladies, they're racist. The kids be out here playing, and they done called them niggers while they were playing, or to get these niggers out of the driveway. And there's signs up specifying that kids are playing. Kids are at play. Slow down. Kids are in the area. So I did experience them, the one that had the vehicle, not the one that got my car towed, this other woman. She basically, like, she was speeding so fast, and I was walking through the little driveway or whatever with my daughter holding her hand. Now, I'm pregnant at this time, but I wasn't showing as much. And she's just flying through there. I yelled at her. I'm like, you need to slow down. There's other kids out here. There's no reason for you to be speeding in here, flying in here like that. So, yeah. So the woman, she's admitting that she did it. Okay. And so that just made me hot. Okay. Made me hot. I'm fuming at this point. Not just because I was pregnant. So I'm like, you know what? You get my car towed again. Because she's literally trying to, like, she's raising her voice. Yeah, it's going to get towed again. I'll tow it again. So I'm like, oh, you got me messed up. You got me messed up. You really do. Trying to get me out of character. I'm not finna argue with you. I'm not finna go back and forth with you. What you won't do is try to walk after me after I've already deaded this conversation. I've walked away. You will not come walking after me. Unacceptable. So I call my landlord. Now I'm high at this point. I'm ready. I'm ready to box. Damn near. I'm ready to box. Because I'm like, you're not finna walk after me. You're not finna yell at me. You're not finna throw some threats out there saying, yeah, I'm going to keep getting your car. So I'm going to get it towed again. Girl, you got me messed up. Okay. So, I basically was talking to my landlord on the phone, and I'm telling her, like, look, I'm gonna have to move up out of here. And she's like, what's going on? I'm like, this woman, this older white woman, she really just pissed me off. Now, my vehicle got towed. Now, she didn't know this because I hadn't talked to my landlord about it yet. So I'm like, my vehicle got towed, and I decided that I was gonna try to, like, talk to a couple people and see if who knew what, right? So I mentioned it to her. We have a little conversation, and then she admits, yeah, I sold your car because you're not supposed to be parked back there. You don't have a permit in your window, and if you park it back there again, I'm gonna do it again. So I'm telling my landlord this, and she's like, what? I'm like, yes, that's what this lady just said. And she's yelling at me. And I told her, you know what? If you get my car towed again, we gonna have a problem. Because I live here. She's telling me I don't live there. She got everything to say. So, I'm like, I'm gonna have to move up out of here because I don't do drama. I don't do this. Not like this. We're not finna do this. Because I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not disrespectful. I'm not double parking. I'm not taking up someone else's spot. Like, leave me alone. Leave me be. Because I was not in the mood. Wasn't in the mood for it at all. So she's like, oh, you know what? I'm finna be on my way. I'm coming over there. So my landlord, she pulled up within like 10-15 minutes. she was on it. So she pulls up and she's like, Rihanna, just go in the house or whatever, go inside, and I'm gonna speak to the lady. I'm gonna see what's going on with her and what she has to say. I'm like, okay, go ahead and talk to her because she say something else to me. Yeah. So I look out the window. She pulls up. She starts. First she started walking up the steps, kind of walked past the lady, and then she doubled back and started talking to her. Now, I don't know exactly what they were talking about, but I knew they were talking for at least like 10-15 minutes. Then she calls me and she tells me like, hey, I just stepped back in my vehicle or whatever, but just unlock your door and I'm just gonna come in because this lady, she's really watching or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Well, so I did that. So she comes in and she talks to me and she lets me know that she talked to the lady and advised her like, look, she's pregnant, you don't want to upset her like that. That's not right. She does live here. It's really none of your business with anything more than that. Like, do you own what's going on over here? And the lady's like, no, but I know the association personally. Like, I work with them. I guess she wasn't a property manager, but she was something affiliated with the association. So I don't know exactly what her position was, but I just feel like she was just an elderly person that has been there, living there for a long time, and they probably just relied on her a little bit to be their little eyes and ears. That's what I think. Um, so she so she's like, she mentioned, my landlord tells me, the lady mentions like, hey, she I've seen her arguing outside the building, and her I watched her, and I'm like, why were you, that's creepy. Like, she whole admitted, I watch her. Okay, that's very creepy. Very creepy. You shouldn't be watching me that closely to know which vehicle is mine and all this other stuff, unless you're just being a good neighbor, and you're just like kind of watching over things. But you're doing it in a sneaky, malicious way. You're not doing it for just scared the shit out of me. Just scared the shit out of me. Okay, okay. And we're back. Alright, so that creepy ass noise that scared me. That was my mini fridge. Now there's ice inside of there. It's a little compartment at the top. So the ice kind of fell. So that's what that noise was. Because I'm like, looking scared. Like, what was that? Alright, so back to my story. So the ladies admit she watching me and stuff, being creepy. And so basically after this point, I kind of got, I find out who got my car towed, which was her. I got to understand, like, hey, somebody is watching me. Okay, make note of that. Keep that in the back of my mind. Remember that, because you know so
Mommy, there's a picture of my foot.
okay. Now where were we? Okay, yes. So
No,
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 no.
go.
No. No. What you want? What you want? Hmm? You can't have this. No. Can I have this back? Thank you. Thank you. No. No, Nene. One second. Alrighty, so we were talking. My youngest baby came in here talking and bothering stuff and doing what she does. Alright, so so yeah, from this point on, the woman, like, I would see her, like, I had like a patio, little fenced in area, right? That was outside, like right in front of my house. And I've seen her like peeking over the fence. She was giving me what's that guy's name? Home Improvement. I don't know if who remembers Home Improvement, the show. And that neighbor, I forget his name. He all you would see is like the eyes and the top of his head up, because he was always over, on the other side of the fence. I can't remember his name right now, but that's what she was giving me. Like, I've seen her a few times doing that at my gate, just looking, staring, being nosy. And she was really starting to creep me out. But as I said, she didn't do this to any of the other people that were not my skin complexion. Okay, so, and I heard, hearing from other people that have lived there, moved in way before I did, they're having issues with her, and she's bothering them. So I wasn't the only one. At first, I was thinking I was feeling like I was getting singled out because maybe I was a new kid on the block, But no, it was, that time. Racist behavior. I don't know the lady's name. Didn't think to ask. Didn't want to ask. No, you know what? No. I was told what her name was, but I forgot because it doesn't matter now, because I eventually was able to get out of that area, and I relocated somewhere else where I didn't have to deal with people that have issues with my skin complexion. So yeah, that is my story time of when my car got towed. My neighbor got my car towed, and she just so happened to be racist at the same time. Now, to my face, she never said anything that was like, "Oh, you're racist for real." No. Now, she did say a couple of things when we were exchanging words. And then when she talked to my landlord, yeah, she said a couple of things that would kind of like raise your eyebrow, like, this lady, that's not something that you should say, and that's not normal. Like, she was talking about, I think she saw my boyfriend a couple of times, and she was saying how he was a thug, and he's not. But it's like, that's a typical stereotype and stigma that you put on, that certain people put on men of color. If you're wearing like black or any dark or a dark color, if you're not, even if you're clean cut, I feel like you still can be labeled as a thug. So I'm just like, this lady. Okay. Now, certain things, I know that racism is out here in the world. I'm very aware of that. I've received that energy. I just try to deflect, okay, because I don't have time. But if it's going to try to inflict me or impact me in any way, I'll address it. I'm not one to stand down and allow someone to disrespect me. No. I mean, there's ways you can own your respect and own who you are without having to do all the extra, get stupid to their level, like use this up here. So, I mean, I have no problem doing that, because it's like, I'm not the one with the problem. You have it. So, yeah. Story time. And not dealing with the situation now. That's done and over with. It's just, another memory that I've had, a little story. I got a bunch of stories though, so we'll get into them for sure. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening to me tell my story. I know I didn't include any names. I just kind of felt like it was. I hope you guys didn't get confused. I didn't feel like it was a need to like use names because it wasn't that many extra people involved. You know, um, it was just the main person, my landlord, and another woman. But I mean, yeah, I didn't need. No, I think I did it correctly. I didn't need to include any imaginary names or their names for sure. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, I'll definitely have more story times coming soon for sure. Um, Again, I thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a couple of laughs, you know, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. Stay blessed.